In this Baldur's Gate 3 video, I'm going to be showing you 3 early game Druid builds, one for each subclass, that you can use up through level 6. 2 of these builds are single class and one of them is slightly multi-classed, and I'll explain why that is when we get further into this video. So first, let's take a look at 6 levels of Circle of Spores, and this is a single class build. And the reason that we take single class here is because we want the benefit that we gain at level 6 of Circle of Spores, which is Fungal Infestation. Fungal Infestation works very similarly to Animate Dead. It's going to allow you to raise a corpse to create a fungal zombie effectively that can create other fungal zombies by killing creatures. And so you can grow your army larger and larger. And what's great about this compared to Animate Dead is that you can use 4 charges of this per long rest. So you can actually have 4 of these zombies out compared to the 1 of Animate Dead, or if you're a Necromancer Wizard, the 2 of Animate Dead. The downside of this, though, is that these zombies have far less health than the ones that you gain from Animate Dead. However, they still have the ability that, like if they get killed or they take enough damage that they would die, they don't go down once. Like, they will be immune to being killed from 1 killing blow. So they are a little bit harder to kill than you would first imagine, and you get to control all of these individually, just like you do with the Animate Dead zombies, but any of the zombies that they create will not be controllable. And what's really nice about this is that you can use Animate Dead with this as well. You gain the Animate Dead spell at level 5, so you're going to be able to pick up 1 regular zombie and then have 4 fungal infestations minimally that are running around as part of your group. And other things you can do with this build, you're going to be able to use Symbiotic Entity to give yourself damage protection. It's going to give you temporary HP, so it's going to prevent damage from getting to you. This is also going to let you deal more damage if you make melee attacks. It's going to improve the damage of your Halo of Spores, which you can use as a reaction every turn. Typically, enemies aren't going to be getting to you because your zombies are going to be blocking them. So you shouldn't take too much damage as, this Druid type. And that's going to allow you to cast spells from the back line while your zombies move up and attack enemies. But one thing I would say is I don't recommend this build for co-op. If you're playing co-op, you have to control all these minions yourself, or at least the ones that, you summon directly from corpses. And players in your group probably aren't going to want to wait for you to take 5 or 6 turns every round. But it's exceptionally fun to play, and if you multi-class at this point, you're going to miss out on Fungal Infestation, so you absolutely want to get to level 6 if you're a Circle of Spores Druid as quickly as you can. And the next build we're going to take a look at is Circle of the Moon Druid, and I have 6 levels here, and I didn't multi-class because it's really important to get to level 6 on Circle of the Moon Druid. What you gain here is you gain Wild Shape Panther and Wild Shape Owlbear. You gain these no matter which subclass you take, but it's really important if you're focusing on Wild Shape to get to these because they're very, very strong. Secondly, you're going to gain an HP increase at level 6 when you're in Wild Shape form, which is going to make you more durable. And you're also going to gain Primal Strike, which is going to allow you to make your attacks magical for the purposes of overcoming physical resistance in combat. So if an enemy has physical resistance of some kind, your attacks are going to cut through that and deal full damage anyway. So these are really, really strong reason to get to level 6 because you want those shapes, you want to be able to deal more damage, and you want to have more health while you're in Wild Shape form. So there are a couple ways you can really play this build at the start of combat. You can either shift immediately using your bonus action into your Wild Shape and then go attack twice because you will have Wild Strike at this point, allowing you to attack twice every turn. Or what you could do is throw out some sort of concentration spell like Spike Growth or something like that, Moonbeam, Entangle, something like that, then shift with your bonus action and then kind of get ready for the next round where you'll be able to attack and, use your bonus action for Lunar Mend or something like that. And keep in mind that you'll have to maintain concentration on that spell. So if you get hit, you'll have to make a concentration saving throw. But Druids have a lot of concentration spells, and being able to have one out while you're fighting can be really nice. And keep in mind that in this gameplay, I'm playing solo here. But when you have a group, you're not going to be the only target attacked every round. And so then generally moving forward, you're just going to keep pressing the enemy with your Owlbear or your Panther or whatever, attacking them over and over, keeping the pressure up. Remember that your health pool, once it's gone, you'll just shift back into regular form. So it's not like you have to be worried about dying so much. And worst case scenario, if you go into combat with 2 wild shape charges and you get pulled out of Owlbear form or something, you just shift right back into it again with a bonus action and then keep attacking. So it's really, really strong. You get a lot of damage out of this build. And for the last build, I have 5 levels of Circle of the Land and 1 level of Monk here. And the reason I did this here instead of taking 6 levels because it's level 6, you basically gain the ability to move through difficult terrain without being slowed by half your movement speed. And as a Circle of Land Druid, you're usually casting from the back line, so you don't really need to worry about this so much, and I think the benefits that you gain from Monk are more important than gaining that. 2 points of key here is going to give you 2 uses of Flurry of Blows as a bonus action if an enemy like comes up to you and you want to deal some extra damage and you don't want to use a spell slot or something like that, which is quite nice. But really also, you gain your wisdom being added to your armor class if you're not wearing armor. And that can be really huge because on a druid, you tend to have a lot of wisdom, particularly if you are a primarily spell-casting druid like we are with Circle of the Land. So you're going to have probably 18, 20 wisdom as you move through the game, and that can add up to 5 armor class to your armor class as long as you're not wearing armor on top of what your dexterity adds. So you can get a lot of armor class here. And you can also use a shield, right? So you can add the shield's armor class to it, and you're going to be very, very tanky druid with that setup. And again, at this level, there's no real reason to take Druid to 6 other than the difficult terrain, although if you're at level 7, there might be more of a case for it. But what I really want to do with this build eventually is go 9 levels of Circle of the Land Druid and then 3 levels of Monk. And that's going to give you all of the Circle of the Land spells that you can possibly get, which is great, so you're taking advantage of that fully. And you're also going to gain things from Monk on top of that, like you're going to gain Step of the Wind, and you're going to gain Patient Defense at level 2. Those are really strong, as well as you gain, unarmored movement, so that you can move faster if you're not wearing armor. That's good, for positioning to cast spells, etc. And also at level 3, like if you take something like Way of the Four Elements, you'll get to pick some spells you can use with your key that also use your Wisdom modifier. So you'll gain even more spell casting, and those will replenish on short rest. So you could probably lead with those in combat, save your spell slots, and then short rest in between combats. So you're not using as many of your spell slots, and it's still using your Wisdom modifier, which is great. So that wraps up our 3 early game Druid builds. I hope you guys found this useful. I hope you can see why it's not really great to multi-class a couple of the, Druids early on, particularly at level 6 specifically. They gain some really good stuff at level 6. Circle of the Land, not as much at level 6, but every odd level of Circle of the Land, pretty much up through level 9, you're going to gain more spells. So, at level 6, it's kind of a nice level to multi-class, but if you were making this a level 7 build, you might just want to go all the way Circle of the Land Druid, and you can either take some Monk as you level up Circle of the Land, or you can wait till the end to take Monk if you want. I think getting 1 level of Monk early on would be better, and delaying your later spells a little bit just to gain that extra armor class from Wisdom. Because as a Circle of the Land Druid, you're really going to crank Wisdom to make sure that your spells connect. So, you really want that. And again, Wisdom also increases the amount of prepared spells a Druid has, so it's really good on a Druid. As always, if you have further tips, please leave them in the comments below for other players, for anything I might have missed. And if you have questions, leave them in the comments, and I will get to them as soon as I can.